Are you feeling a little blocked up during chemotherapy? Let's break down why this happens and easy strategies that you can do to start feeling better today. Hi there, my name is Beth Hoag. I'm a physiotherapist with over 15 years of experience working in cancer rehab, lymphedema, and pelvic health. I'm also the founder of the online cancer rehab space. In this video, we're going to talk about managing constipation during and after chemotherapy. Specifically, we're going to talk about what constipation is, why it happens, and strategies that you can use today to start feeling better. So let's get started. So before we can actually talk about what constipation is, what constitutes a normal bowel routine? Well, typically normal bowel movements range from anywhere from going 3 times a day to 3 times a week. So there's really quite a large range. So when we're talking about constipation, we're talking about fewer bowel movements than 3 times a week. As well, you might also notice that your bowel movements are firm, small pellets, or even just hard to pass. One way to gauge your bowel movements is using the Bristol stool chart, which is scored on a scale of 1 to 7 for types of bowel movement consistency, where 1 and 2 are more on the constipated side, and 3 or 4 are ranging on healthy bowel movements. If you enjoy talking about poop like I do, you can always get yourself one of these handy Bristol stool mugs. Now, on a more serious note, we talk about why does constipation matter? Well, first of all, it can really be physically uncomfortable and distressing. Not only can it be just uncomfortable itself to be constipated or to try to have a bowel movement when you're constipated, but we also know that constipation can contribute both to low back pain and negatively impact bladder health. Finally, being constipated can also be really frustrating and emotionally distressing. So if this is you, you are not alone. So next, let's talk about why constipation happens. But before we dive into that, I think it's important very briefly to talk about how digestion works. If we think about our digestive system like basically two ends of a tube with an entry point and an exit point. When we eat food or drink water or drink fluids, when we enter our mouth, we first start with that chewing process, which is the start of digesting that food. It then passes from a tube between our mouth and our stomach called the esophagus. Once it enters the stomach, we add different digestive juices and enzymes to further digest that food. From the stomach, it then enters our small intestine, which is a squiggly length of tube that is in our gut. There is where a lot of the absorption of those essential nutrients that our body needs for energy and health occurs. Once it leaves that long small intestine, it enters our colon or our large intestine, which is sort of like an upside down U in the stomach. Although there's still absorption that happens in the large intestine, the primary role of the large intestine is to transport and to temporarily, for short periods of time, store our stool before it then leaves our body. It then leaves our body through the obvious place, through your anus. That's how digestion works. So now we think about, why does constipation happen during cancer treatment and beyond? Well, there are 2 primary reasons why it can happen, or the 2 most common reasons it happens. One is there is a slowing of transit time through that system, primarily the large intestine, which means that there's more time for more water to be reabsorbed back out or back into the body out of the large intestine, which means that stool becomes drier over time, which then makes it even harder to pass. This is truthfully the most common thing that I see during cancer treatment, including chemotherapy, and a large part of this lower transit time is related to some of the medications that people are taking that are necessary to treat their cancer. And the second most common reason this can happen is increased tone around the muscles of the pelvic floor, which are the muscles at the bottom of our pelvis. So now that you have a better understanding of why constipation happens, let's move on to talk about the reason that I know you're really here. What can you do to help manage and improve constipation during cancer treatment and beyond? First of all, our bowels need movement. I know this can be difficult when you're going through chemotherapy, but a little bit goes a long way. Aiming to get some regular physical activity in for 20 to 30 minutes a day. You can absolutely break that exercise over your day, and it can be something as simple as walking. Second, our bowels do not respond well to stress. When our nervous system is in a heightened fight or flight state, our bowels tend to work slower, which can contribute to constipation. So working on managing stress and encouraging moments of relaxation in your day are very helpful to improving bowel health. Now, I know this isn't always easy when you're going through cancer treatment. Cancer is a stressful experience in and of itself. I'm not saying you need to have a perfectly calm day, but what is really helpful is to find those moments of calm where you can dip your nervous system into a different experience, which will also help your bowels. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about this or different strategies that you can use, I have a few great videos of different mindfulness, deep breathing, and meditation practices on my channel, and I'll share those in the link in the description box below. Third, our bowels love routine. So developing a morning routine that is bowel friendly can be super helpful. Starting with, if you enjoy coffee, coffee is a really great stimulant for the bowel. I'm not encouraging you to have multiple cups a day, but that one warm beverage, ideally a cup of coffee, if you enjoy coffee, can be a great stimulant to get the kick to kickstart the bowels. Second part of the morning routine that can be helpful is starting to do an abdominal massage specifically for the gut, which can increase its motility and get things moving at a faster rate. If you're interested in learning more about this type of massage, I am going to do another video on that, and once it has been released, I will include a link in the description box below. Now, what we put into our bodies is also really important. So tip number 4 I have for you is staying hydrated. That doesn't mean necessarily water only, but non-caffeinated fluids to help hydrate our body. The other thing for putting things in your body that are helpful is my tip number 5, which is fiber-rich foods. There are plenty of fiber-rich foods out there, like green leafy vegetables, that can be really helpful to increase and bulk up our stool. But if you want a little bit more advice about this, I'm going to really encourage you to speak to a dietitian in your healthcare system so that you can get specific help for you about ways to increase fiber in your food to make sure A, it's appropriate and that you're getting the right types of fiber and that you're bringing it in gradually so you're not overloading your system all at once. This trick can really be helpful for those who have more mild to moderate constipation. And finally, if all of this isn't working and you've tried it all, absolutely, I want to encourage you to speak to your medical team. At the end of the day, you might need a little help through stool softeners to laxatives, but this conversation is critical to have with your medical team, as there are sometimes reasons why one option over another is appropriate in your individual case. Now, this last tip isn't necessarily how to prevent constipation or manage constipation, but I want to encourage you, when you have the urge to have a bowel movement, do not delay. Remember, our large intestine is not designed to store stool for prolonged periods of time, and the longer that stool stays in there, the more dehydrated and harder it can be to pass stool. So when you feel the urge, I want you to respond to that urge appropriately, head to the toilet, and go have a poop. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you enjoy this content and would like to see more, I encourage you to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel, all of which is completely free. I also invite you to leave any comments in the description box below. Let me know what your experience was with some of these videos. And finally, the best gift of all that you can give is to share this video with someone that you think could use this information today. Because at the end of the day, remember, your quality of life matters. It really matters. Until next time, be well.